As you wander through the wizard, you're going to notice where it wants to verify your housing payment. Specifically, we're going to call it rent in this situation. It may be that you have a current house payment and you would put it in here. In this case, it's rent. We're going to put $1,500 a month and then hit next. Once you get past the housing, you're going to want to verify your employment. In this case, I have a fictitious ABC company. I'm a current position. And notice that my start date was in January of 2023. I'm doing this on purpose just in case there's not a 2-year work history, and I'll show you what the computer will do for us if we forget that part. The next thing you want to make note of is let us know if you are employed by a family member or anybody that's involved in the real estate transaction. We have to let everyone know. Also, notice that there's a base income here. If you're making perhaps $60,000 a year, I would divide that by 12, and that would be your gross monthly income. If you're self-employed, and that is very difficult to understand what calculated income that we can use, just know to talk to your loan officer so you can figure that out as well. Once you go to the bottom, and you can notify us if you want us to automatically verify your income with your employer, that will speed up the process very quickly when that part is needed. Now, if you hit the next arrow, we know that we don't have a 2-year work history, so watch what happens. Oh, I got to go back and fix something. Oh, I'm providing less than a 2-year work history. Oh, let's go back and fix that. Yep, so anyway, it's a 2023. Then I can go down here, add a new employer, say that I was employed with JRS Company at 745 East Main Street in Traverse City. I was a manager there as well. And we're going to say we started in June 2010, and that will be another $4,500 a month. Then we'll save that. Oop, forgot the phone number. It's going to let me understand what it needs when it needs it. And we're going to save that so we can go on to the next screen. If you have any other income, it's going to ask you that, and we could add that in. Those things might be, and are not limited to, alimony, child support, disability, foster care, retirement. Just let us know if there's any other income you think that may qualify for your loan. In this case, why don't we just put a retirement pension of $2,000 a month? You would simply add it there. That's added to this employment and income portfolio on you. And then again, you're just going to hit the next arrow at the bottom of the screen. If there's any real estate that you own, you would simply click this button here and type in that specific address. You're going to let us know if it is, who it's owned by, if it's for sale, rented, or sold, if it's a primary residence, a second home, or investment, what the intention is, and what the market value is, and what type of home is it. Is it a single-family residence? Is it a condo? Manufactured, it could be land. What your monthly expenses are. Make sure you include taxes and insurance if there are any, or any homeowners association dues as well. If there's any monthly income that property yields, let us know what a gross monthly figure of that is as well. In this case, I'm going to say we don't own any real estate, but that's what you would be expected if, say, you did. This part is where it's going to view your assets. Sometimes you just want to put a checking account in. We're going to just say you have a Chase account. If you know the account number, great. If you don't, that's fine too. And if you know the existing balance, just get close with it on this part of the screen. If there's any more new assets, just put them in here. If not, just continue and proceed to the next screen. If there's any liabilities you have, and we have not pulled your credit and don't know what those liabilities are, here's where you can add each one for us so we can communicate with one another on each account and do the math so we know what you qualify for. Again, to make it an easy transaction and closing at the end. In this case, you can select revolving credit. And let's say you also had a revolving credit with Chase. You would put that in there. And let's say your monthly payment was $100, $7,500 balance. You have a 0% loan. You would save it here, and then you would continue to add each liability along the way until you developed your entire liability portfolio. The next one is your gift or grants. Some folks need to have a down payment gifted to them. This is where you would add the gift or grant. Let's say your mother was giving you a cash gift, and let's say it was a parent, and the amount was about $15,000. This is where you would add the gift or grant for that situation, and then you would save it along the way. Now it shows up here, and then as long as this all looks right, if it's deposited, you would click it here. If not, we'll just leave it blank. And again, consult with your loan officer on this part if you need to know the rules on gifts. And last but not least, you're going to want to verify your declarations. It's going to ask you to review your information, and we'll use the information to process your loan request. Your declarations are: will you occupy the property as your primary residence? I'm going to say yes. Have I had ownership interest in a property in the last 3 years? In this case, on the application, I rent, but I sold a house back in 2023. I'm going to say yes, I did. It's going to ask what type of property did I own. It was a primary residence. Did I hold the title by myself or with my spouse? I'm going to say with my spouse. Is this a purchase transaction, and do I have a family or business relationship to the seller? I'm going to say no. Am I borrowing any money for this real estate transaction besides this mortgage? No. Or from the realtor or from any other party? Nope. Have you been applying for a mortgage on another property? No. Have you or will be applying for a new credit card? No. Please do not apply for any loans while you're in the mortgage process. Will this property be subject to a lien that could take priority over this mortgage? Absolutely not. No. Are you a co-signer on a debt? If you have co-signed on a loan for your child or your nephew, you would have to disclose it here. In this case, I'm going to say no. If you had any judgments against you, they would reside here. Anything that would show up at the county level, you would depict it here on the declarations. At this point, I'm going to say no. Are you presently delinquent on a default or a federal debt? No. Are you a party of a lawsuit or potentially having a personal financial liability? If you know something's coming, you do have to let your loan officer know that there could be a potential liability, and you have to disclose it if so. Have you conveyed the title to any property in lieu of a foreclosure? That's deed in lieu, where you don't actually foreclose, you actually give the house back to the bank. That's where you would depict that here. And it also says, in the past 7 years, have you completed a pre-foreclosure sale or a short sale? In other words, you would depict that here in the declarations. Have you had a property foreclosed upon in the last 7 years? You would mention that here. And if you've ever declared bankruptcy in the last 7 years, also in that place. Your supplement consumer information will ask you if you had any home ownership education or housing counseling. In this case, most folks would say no, but if you did, you would mention it here. And once you feel that you know that that information is correct, you would simply go down to the demographic information, which talks first about your ethnicity. If you're Hispanic or Latino, ethnicity. If you're not Hispanic or Latino, or if you do not wish to provide the information. What is your gender? If you do not provide the information, that's fine. What is your race? Those are all listed here. And you would hit the next arrow, and you are verifying your application all here and making sure this summary is correct. And if it looks good, you're just going to click that turquoise button, and your loan application has been received, and that is an indicator that I have received it as well. If you notice at the bottom, you have a dashboard. You can click your dashboard. It's going to give you your to-dos. And again, have a great day, but of course, make sure you're in touch with your loan officer to know what is needed to get your loan closed as quickly and as easily without hassle. This will conclude this section of the online application process. I'm hoping this information has been helpful to you. If you want to get a hold of me, my contact information is right here in the comments. Don't forget to smash that like button. Thank you.